This is the inaugural 80s Magazine podcast. I'm Jason, and I'm here with your favourite presenter, Greg.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very nice. Thanks, Chase.
No problem at all. We are...
It's wrong, though, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's wrong, though, isn't it?
No, you are my favourite presenter.
Out of who? Us two?
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're going to be talking about a few things. We're not going to limit ourselves to the 80s in these podcasts. Hopefully we'll be doing these every couple of weeks. What was that?
Just having a drink, sorry.
All right. Hopefully we'll be doing these every couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about a few things. If there's anything that you would like us to discuss and talk about, drop it in the comments on the YouTube video, and we'll
Knight
see
Rider,
if we can discuss it.
Sorry.
Not you, Greg.
Oh.
First thing we're talking about is, just in case any of you haven't been into a shop in the last few months, Burton's Fish and Chips are back.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Remember those from the playground, the tuck shop?
Well, I'm a little bit younger than you, so I do remember them, but like I said, I'm a little bit younger than you.
I've got you some. There you go.
Oh. Wow.
Let's have a taste of those. Well, the packaging, I'm quite impressed with the packaging. It kind of reminds me of how they used to look. Brings back 80s memories there.
It is the same, isn't it?
Give them a taste.
They haven't changed one bit. I wonder if they're the same biscuits. Crisps.
Do you think they've just had them in a cupboard somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no date on them.
No, they do taste exactly the same. They taste exactly the same.
They do, don't they?
They're very nice. Yeah, we like those. Well done, Burton's, for bringing those back.
Did they have other flavours? That was really brummy, wasn't it?
It was a bit, yeah.
Yeah, spray that again.
I've just spat fish and chips everywhere.
I'm sure they had bacon, didn't they, or something?
There were a couple of other flavours, I think. I can't quite remember what they were. I'm sure that people will let us know in the comments on the video.
Probably.
But yeah, they're not bad at all. Salt and vinegar fish and chips. What did Burton's have to say when we asked them about them?
You asked them?
I did. I sent them an email and asked them what they had to say about it. And
do you have time to do anything else?
No.
Right.
A guy called Stuart Wilson from Burton's Biscuits said, "We were overwhelmed at the response from the public, which confirmed that what we already believed. Snack lovers everywhere wanted to see the return of Burton's Fish and Chips, and we're delighted that after so many years, Burton's Fish and Chips are officially back. We're just glad we could brighten up snack times for the great British public." So there you go. That's what they had to say.
Well,
are you eating another one?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's not good when you're doing a podcast, is it?
They're a bit salty, aren't they?
They are, but they're very nice.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what were my favourite. Piglets. Remember those?
The sweets?
No, the crisps. They were in the shapes of little piglets.
You mean quavers?
No, piglets.
I've no idea what you're talking about.
Remember Snaps?
Is that my... Oh, yeah, remember Snaps, the spicy tomato.
Yeah, they're still around, aren't they? But
not spicy, though.
They're not 8p a packet anymore, are they?
God, you really are old, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Thanks.
It's all right.
And Puffs.
Pardon?
Burton's Puffs. They were another favourite of mine. Remember those? Same company who made fish and chips.
No, but I'll tell you what I've noticed. Sorry to change the subject. You know the chip shop crisps? The sticks?
Chipsticks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. They're called chipsticks, aren't they? That's it.
Yeah.
They've stopped doing the ready salty flavour. Have you noticed that?
No.
Have a look. You won't find them anywhere.
I find the salt and vinegar flavour of those a bit overpowering.
Overpowering.
Too much, isn't it?
It's really boring, this conversation, but I just needed to get that out there.
That's all right. No, I'm sure people are really interested.
What about salty crisps?
Yeah. So if you've got any tuck shop favourites that you remember that aren't available anymore, or maybe they still are, but you just want to remind yourselves about them, why not drop us a line and we could possibly talk about them in the next podcast, Cola Cubes.
Cola Cubes?
That's all I'm saying.
They're not sweets, though? They're not crisps?
It didn't have to be crisps.
You didn't say that?
It can be sweets as well.
Oh, well, you've opened the ballpark there, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Curly Whirlies, remember when they were massive? They're tiny now. Tiny. Anyway, let's move on from the food-related things. You wanted to talk about Knight Rider.
I'm still thinking of sweets now.
Well, forget that. We've moved on. You wanted to talk about Knight Rider.
Yeah, I do.
You are a big Knight Rider fan, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Knight Rider fan, just not quite as big as you, I don't think.
I don't know. You've got all the seasons, haven't you?
I've recently watched them all again, from start to finish.
It's bad watching them knowing how it's done now, though, isn't it? You have to watch it, trying not to find out how it's done, if that makes sense.
I think when you watch it, same with any 80s thing, it's not just watching the programme, it brings back the memories of watching that programme when you were a kid.
Oh, do you remember the opening? When it was dark sand? Because it got lighter, didn't it, throughout the series?
I seem to remember it was on a Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They were all on that night, weren't they?
Yeah.
Wasn't it all Knight Rider, Street Hawk,
Because you would have your weekly bath, wouldn't you, on a Saturday? And then you'd settle down to watch Knight Rider. Or was it fortnightly bath that you had?
I find that very insulting. You're insinuating to the listeners that I smell.
Well, we haven't got smell-o-vision. It's a good job. But so Knight Rider
Very
was
painful.
originally came to the American TV in 1982. Probably came over a bit later than that. Can't remember if I watched it from when it first came over here, or if we watched a few repeats a couple of years later, because in 82 I was probably 6 or 7, maybe a little bit young, I don't know.
I don't know whether we had it that early over here either.
I don't know, we'll have to look into that, what year it came over here. But Saturday evenings, Knight Rider, the introduction, just...
Unbelievable.
When you heard the music, and you heard the guy, the voiceover...
For me, it was just that like, what do you call it, that... It's like a twinkle when it comes down that's the wrong word to use, but you know that when it's coming down the sand?
Yeah.
And you can hear them, you're a musician, them metal things, what do you call it?
Wind chime.
Well, it's not a wind chime, is it? But
that's what they're called.
Are they?
Yeah.
So when you play an instrument, you call it a wind chime?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then and then down the sand, unbelievable.
It was. And the...
Yeah, that's right.
Mine was better.
I don't think so. Yours just sounds like a beetle. That's how a beetle starts. And I don't mean the new Beatles, I mean the old Beatles. That is horrendous.
I hope nobody's just tuned in at that point.
What?
Where...
Or...
Mine is definitely better.
Oh,
Why do I sound like I'm 300 years old when I laugh? Or...
Oh, what was that?
That was an email, don't worry. Or Dastardly from Wacky Races.
Oh, yeah, you do actually. Or Penelope Pit Stop.
Penelope. I'm having another fish and chip. So, yeah, 1982. And it ran for 4 years. Is that 4 seasons?
4 seasons,
4 years?
not 4 years. I know it's 4 years because...
Well, in America it did. It ran from September 26, 82 to August the 8th, 86.
Well, I don't remember us getting season 4 because when I got it on DVD, none of them I remember at all.
I don't really remember any of them, I don't think.
Funny that my ones, I only remember... I can remember clearly are season 2 with April, not Bonnie.
No, you see, I didn't like April.
I know, most of the fans didn't, but I thought she was pretty good.
She was very attractive, don't get me wrong.
She was just good at it.
I just didn't... The way that the character was portrayed, I didn't feel like I believed that she knew enough about Kit to repair him, and...
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't feel like she didn't come across as intelligent as Bonnie did.
No, I agree with that. I do agree.
And Bonnie was attractive in a very different way.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, like I just said, because season 2 was the one I remember the most, it's always going to be, that's the one that's my little favourite one. Because 3 was starting to slip, and because they changed all the dashboard, didn't they, in 3? Everything, because it got blew up, didn't it, or something?
There was a lot of changes in the later seasons, which we'll probably talk about in a minute.
Am I going too far for you then?
When we get to them, we haven't talked about season 1 and 2 yet, have we? And you're already on 3 and 4.
I'm excited.
Well,
always shouting at me,
is
aren't
that you excited?
It's about as good as it gets.
Vroom, vroom. That was really good, wasn't it? You thought Kit was in the room then, didn't you?
What, as in the original Kit from 1980 something all the way up to now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
Yeah. So, the voice of Kit, William Daniels. We'd all seen him in St. Elsewhere.
Too young.
Later on, we saw him in Boy Meets World.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other voice. I mean, they've done it, they've remade it, haven't they? How many times? And it's never the same.
And apparently, David Hasselhoff and William Daniels never met during the first season. The first party, I think they had, Christmas party, was it?
Yeah.
That was the first time they ever met. Sort of said, hi, I'm Kit. And
he usually did it afterwards, didn't they? After the series was done.
Right.
I think that's right. It might have been before, because I know that someone had a script and shouted out what Kit would be saying.
Yeah, I just remember that voice. It's just such a distinctive voice, and no matter what he's in or what you see him on now, you just think Kit.
Of course you do.
Don't you? And I don't know if that's plagued him through his career.
It must have made his career, mustn't it? He must have made some serious money from it.
You'd have thought so. I mean, that pairing, him and the Hoff, don't hassle the Hoff. I mean, David Hasselhoff in Knight Rider.
Oh, it's top.
Forget anything that's happened since or before. He was really at his peak.
There was nobody that could have done it better.
No.
I don't think so. And it wasn't. Who was up for it? Or am I thinking the way around?
I can't remember. But for a relatively unknown actor to come along and take on the role and make it so iconic that other TV series copied the format, you know, he was just great then in the 80s. I'm not saying he's not great now. I'm not saying that Baywatch wasn't great. Because it had,
but it was, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it has its own redeeming qualities.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can think of
2 of them.
I was going to say 2 in particular.
I don't like the way this conversation's going. Let's have another crisp.
Have a chip.
Have a fish and chip.
Chip.
But I remember as a kid seeing that car drive itself and just being blown away.
Unbelievable. I mean, there was for years. I mean, it's like Santa, isn't it? Oh, sorry. You believe it? That car was real for me for years and years and years. It was the Kit is a real moving, talking car.
I think it still is when you watch that program. I think you can forget all of the things that you know now, the special effects and all of that.
Don't get me wrong. I don't watch it to watch that. You know, how it was done. But you can't help but see the arms coming through the chair when he's driving. You just can't help it.
In the tan leather to match the.
And then when he's parked up, his arms just drop out, and they cut it when he pretends to get in. David pretends to get in.
The thing I notice now the most, which I wouldn't have noticed when I was a kid, is the reuse of the same footage in episodes. There was one episode
I think that's later on. I don't think it was the first 2 series. I think 3 and 4, they're completely... It was just repeat.
There was one episode where he pulled into a cul-de-sac. That's a little dead end.
They don't call that over there, do they?
No, but I don't know what the equivalent is in America. Anyway, a cul-de-sac. Pulled into a cul-de-sac in Kit, turned around, got out of the car, went up the drive and into the house to see this particular lady. Later on in the episode, Michael gets beaten up by a load of gang workers. Really quite badly beaten up. Manages to get himself into Kit. Kit drives him back to the lady's house. They use exactly the same footage. So he pulls up into the cul-de-sac with all his pristine hair and his face all no bruises or anything. Next thing, it cuts to him falling into the house with cuts and bruises and jacket ripped and everything. That's what I really loved about it. And they're the things that I notice now that I wouldn't have noticed when I was a kid.
See, I know you don't want to talk about season 4 because we're doing the series.
We're getting there now.
It's just that with 4, like you're saying about repeating clips and things, apparently it was too expensive to have that super pursuit mode. Because it was a one-off, which ruined it, didn't it?
Super Pursuit mode. If we're gonna talk about Super Pursuit mode, let's talk about Super Pursuit.
Well, it ruined it, but again, it was done. What
was the thinking behind Super Pursuit mode?
I think they thought it was going to pull viewers in, and it really, if anything,
let's face it. By season 4, they were struggling a bit, weren't they?
I don't know why. I really don't know why. What was wrong with? I mean, 3 wasn't great.
I don't know whether they'd run out of ideas. And
they brought that guy in as well, didn't they?
Yeah, what was his name? What was
his real name? Was Paros. Oh, his real name was. I'm a fan as well, and I didn't even know. Is it something like CJ or something like that?
Let's have a look.
I can't believe I don't remember. I'm really disappointed in myself.
I can't remember. Yeah, it was some initials, wasn't it? CJ, something like that. That's how insignificant it was, really, that we don't remember the character's name. And I don't know what the thinking was behind that, because he wasn't really featured all of that much, was he? I don't know.
He helped him out now and again, didn't he? But he didn't need him, and he did the 3 seasons before without him.
And in one episode, I remember he took him to a garage somewhere, and a load of his mates helped to rebuild Kit.
That's where he got introduced into it.
Is it?
Yeah, that's his first introduction to the whole programme.
Yeah, well, like we said, they were struggling a bit for ideas, I think, by season 4, and the ratings had dropped off in season 3, hadn't they?
Yeah, again, I don't know why.
They had to come up with some ideas, and one of the ideas they came up with was Super Pursuit mode.
Disaster.
I just think instead of gaining viewers, that turned viewers off.
But because I know this is going to sound really ridiculous, but we all knew it wasn't real, but it was believable. When it became the Super Pursuit mode, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and again, talking about the same use of footage, they used the same footage every time.
Too expensive. They only had that car. I think they only had one of them, as built as the Super Pursuit mode. So they couldn't use it in case of it being smashed or whatever, so it had to be reused and over and over. And if you remember rightly, it was a convertible, wasn't it, in 4?
Yeah,
and that never worked
when it suited, it was a convertible.
Because when it was a convertible, it was 2-seater.
Yeah.
And actually, Kit is a 4-5-seater car, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was another.
So you would have scenes where the roof was down and they were sat on the back and stuff like that, and then when the roof was up, there was another 2 seats in the back.
Ridiculous. Yeah. They didn't think of anything like that.
But Super Pursuit Mode for me was at the point... I don't know how I felt about it when I was a kid. I can't remember that.
That's why I say I don't think we had it over... I might be completely wrong, but I don't think we had it over here.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that. But I don't... As a kid, I probably would have thought that was really cool. But as an adult, when I rewatched the series recently, I'd forgotten about Super Pursuit Mode. And it came on and I just thought, oh no.
I wonder if the budget was cut then.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure the budget was cut. And they were running out of ideas fast. But having said that, I don't think season 4 was a disaster.
No, none of them was a disaster. I mean, that's the reason it's so famous today, isn't it?
I mean, it remains iconic.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
For 80s fans. I mean, I'm sure if there are any, younger people listening to this, but I'm sure they've got bored by now and gone.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
They might not even remember what Knight Rider is because it's repeated very rarely now, isn't it?
I know, but I still think people will know about it, even kids, because
it's a cult
Hoff's in your
thing,
face, isn't it? It's retro's in at the moment, 80s is in, so they're going to look at it. I'm sure they will know it. They might not just love it as much as we did.
Yeah, and do they love it for different reasons? Do they think it's cheesy 80s kitsch, whereas we believed it was real?
Oh yeah, I believe it's real. Absolutely, 100%.
And, I mean, if they'd have just left it there at the end of season 4, I'd have been quite happy with that, I think.
Are you going to talk about... Well, I think you're going to talk about...
Knight Rider 2000.
Oh my God. I don't know where to start with that. There's only... Do you know there's one good thing to come out of that?
What's that?
And it's probably this big. You can't even see what I'm saying, but this big. I quite like... What's that? I quite like the music at the start.
I don't remember it.
See?
I remember it being...
It was nowhere near the original Knight Rider music, which they should have kept because it's Knight Rider, but it wasn't a bad cover. Well, but it was on for about 10 seconds.
It's a TV movie first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where Wilton Knight died and Kit had been trashed. And some foundation, not the Foundation for Law and Government, but another foundation had taken over.
Wilton Knight was already dead.
Was he?
Devon Miles died.
Devon Miles
But he was in it. He was in it at the start.
Oh, yeah, Wilton Knight died right at the beginning.
And they killed him off. Why would you kill Devon Miles off?
Yeah, I know.
Who on their right mind said that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Why? He's like the fabric of Knight Rider. And they've killed him off.
Yeah, well, Kit was dead as well, wasn't he? Dead, and they couldn't rebuild him in his Trans Am form, which, incidentally, I think that car looks cool even by today's standards.
Oh, you could drive around now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Doesn't look dated, in my opinion.
The red one just looks stupid.
Yeah, and that's what they did to him. Was it a Mustang, a red Mustang?
Was it a Corvette or something? I don't know.
I can't remember.
I might be completely right.
But it was a made-for-TV movie, which was really bad, wasn't it, originally?
Oh, I'm just thinking about that one bit when it's going down the lake. What on earth? I mean, that goes on the line of as stupid episodes. That one where Knight Rider actually did go in the sea, and it just so happened that morning, Kit had been fitted with a swimming device.
Oh, I remember that.
Do you remember?
Yeah, when there was no other option for him to go in the sea, but
Yeah.
luckily,
That morning,
was it Bonnie or April?
had fitted this
Had
new.
just fitted some new.
That was all plastic.
Aqua
that was it.
wings, I'm going to call them.
And it was plastic. If you look at the actual... See, again, I'm looking at it wrongly now. Then I was amazed by it. But it was just this little plastic car they'd filmed over some water, probably in the sink.
So we agree that Knight Rider 2000 was a disaster.
I just don't know what they were thinking, Jason. I honestly don't know what... Who on their right mind thought, right, for starters, let's change the car. Secondly, let's change the colour. Red,
Yeah.
That's great.
And let's get rid of Devon.
Let's kill Devon off, and let's give this woman who has nothing to do with Knight Rider the new position of David Hasselhoff.
So essentially everything that everybody loved about Knight Rider was stripped away for the new series, Knight Rider 2000.
Even the voice box, you know, the three lines of Kit, gone. It was this blue, wavy thing.
Yeah.
What are they... I don't... Honestly, whoever said this is going to be brilliant.
Because then, was it late 90s, mid 90s? They tried to revive it again, and didn't they use a red pickup truck as Kit? Or have I just imagined that?
Are you thinking of Team Knight Rider?
Yeah, probably.
That was nothing to do... Although they called it Team Knight Rider, it was actually nothing to do with Knight Rider.
Right.
It was a group of cars and things, wasn't it?
It's just a vague memory.
Yeah, it will be because it was terrible.
Was it a talking car?
I think... No, I don't even think they even talked. I didn't watch it. I knew about it, but I knew Kit wasn't in it or anything like that, so I didn't watch it. But I don't even think it talked. I just think they were a team of, like, agents doing their stuff in cars, and they called it Team Knight Rider.
Right.
Horrendous.
I don't remember a lot about it at all.
Well, you don't need to.
And then, a few years ago, They remade Knight Rider. How did you feel about that?
I watched it, obviously. They had to. They had to modernise it, didn't they? Because you know.
Yeah, I think you're between a rock and a hard place there. You've got to modernise it, but you can't forget the fans.
I would have paid whatever it took to get Kit's original voice as Kit again.
Yeah.
I mean, who is it now? Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. It's just not the same. I don't know where Bill Daniels is these days. Bill, me and Bill are friends.
Oh, pals now.
Yeah, but he must be knocking on a bit.
But I mean, couldn't they even use old stuff?
Maybe.
And redo it now, like they did with the Superman Returns with Brando. Then you can do it. You can redo it and rejig it.
Yeah, but some of the scripts on the older series probably didn't measure up to today's language.
It's just like you said, though. It's making something modern, which is fine, but they've trashed everything there was before, really.
Yeah, I think they did that consciously, and they went for a new audience, and the new audience didn't buy into it.
Well, it didn't work, did it?
No.
Did it do one series or two, and that was it?
Yeah, I think I got bored after about 5 episodes.
I don't even think I watched that many, because I know I happened to watch one, and all the cast that was in the one I watched, the first one, there's only 3 of them in it now. 2 girls, the main guy, Knight, whoever he is, and I'm sure that was it. That was the cast.
The car was a black Mustang, wasn't it?
That's where I'm thinking Mustang from. Yeah, still.
Which is an iconic American muscle car, I guess. And it's a nice car. But
the scanner?
It's Bumblebee, isn't it?
The scanner at the what?
A Mustang. It's Bumblebee, isn't it? From Transformers. He's a Mustang, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's not right. You can't compare the two.
No, but why would they choose a Mustang when there's already an iconic Mustang out there?
The red scanner at the front. It was two scanners. That's not right.
No.
They didn't.
And it didn't sound like this. Vroom, vroom. Did it? Do you know what I mean? I could have done the sound effect for them.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just actually trying to think of them, trying to find out like noises they can get for the car.
I think.
And they come to you and say, "Hi, we've heard about your vroom vroom.
Well, vroom vroom.
So we'd like to hear it and test it for Kit."
Well, I'm going to have to be careful. Might have to bleep it out in this recording because what if they just pinch it?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if these millions of viewers that are listening to this or listeners try and get it as a text message tone.
What a great idea.
See?
Hang on, let's just cue it up for them. Okay. Bit of silence, then I'll do it.
Well, I'll pretend I'm sending you a message. I'll just pretend this is me texting. Send.
Vroom, vroom. Oh, I've got a text from Greg. What a great text message sound that is. In fact, like, have a bit of silence.
Okay.
Then I'll do it, and then a tiny little bit more silence in case anyone wants to actually turn that into a ringtone.
And I will genuinely tell you what I think about it. All no jokes aside, I'll tell you what I really think about it. I'm going to look away so I can just imagine.
This is it. Vroom, vroom. I mean, come on. That was good, wasn't it? You closed your eyes then. I saw you close your eyes. And you imagined Kit driving up that salt lake at the beginning of Knight Rider, didn't you?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I thought it sounded like a fat old man going vroom, vroom, like that.
Well, that's just rude.
I didn't mean you. I just meant like a man doing it.
Right.
So, although... No. So Knight Rider, yeah.
In conclusion, we love Knight Rider as kids. Still love it now, don't we?
I absolutely adore it. What's my screensaver?
Knight Rider. What's your T-shirt?
Knight Rider.
Yeah.
What's my ringtone?
Don't be so rude.
No, my ringtone.
Oh, Knight Rider.
And what's my actual text message?
Vroom, vroom.
It is the real one, but not that one. Although I might change it.
Change it now, aren't you?
You can get the actual...
What was that?
I don't know, I just did a quick one. Anything's better than yours.
Oh, leave it.
Have some chips.
So, the new series, don't bother watching that if you haven't, don't think. If you're a fan of the original.
I think you should watch it, but then go back and watch the others again, because then you'll realise just how good they were.
Except maybe season 4, a couple of episodes, Super Pursuit mode.
Honestly, I'm going to say I think 3 was pretty poor as well. I only get now as an opinion. I don't mean I wouldn't watch them, because I would every time. But for me, 1's obviously great, but it wasn't, the square kit and all that. It wasn't quite finished. 2, I thought was just brilliant.
Yeah.
The episodes were so good in Series 2.
Yeah, but
do you remember the one with the fire? Jumping over the fire?
April kind of ruined it for me, Series 2, if I'm honest. If Bonnie had been in it,
I thought she was great.
If Bonnie had been in season 2, I think you're right, it'd have smashed it. But it was
Jumping over a helicopter.
good. Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Goliath.
That was series 2. I can't believe we haven't mentioned that. The best 2 episodes probably ever.
David Hasselhoff's evil twin.
Oh.
What an actor.
And all it was a
He
lorry.
played both of them, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
I
He played himself.
don't know.
Played
I'm not sure I
Michael
believe
Knight,
that.
and he played his evil twin.
Get away,
Honest. What an actor.
You madman.
What an actor.
And the fact that he put a bit of metal on the front of a lorry and it completely scrapped Kit.
Yeah. Well, it had the formula, didn't it? It had the formula for Kit's body shape.
You mean the smoke machine
Yeah.
that was poured all over it?
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've probably banged on about Knight Rider.
I don't think anyone's listening at all now.
No, we've probably lost everyone. If
Really apologise.
there is anyone still out there, we've got one more little topic to talk about, and then we'll leave you. Sorry if we've bored you.
I really apologise.
This is our first attempt at a podcast. You'll have to let us know if you've enjoyed it.
I don't think they would have done.
Well,
I think it's over.
there might not be anybody listening by this point. So if you are listening at this point, please let us know. Just put "I'm still listening" in the comments.
Or if you're not listening, don't put anything.
No. Yeah. Anyway, Richard Donner this week.
This
not
is your
this
thing
week,
now, isn't it?
Last week, maybe. Yeah, he, after years of speculation and rumours and saying it's going to happen, Richard Donner, the producer of The Goonies and Superman, half of Superman 2 and lots of other great films.
When are we talking about Superman?
Because he produced those films.
No, when are we talking about?
Maybe next time.
Oh.
But anyway, he has announced that it's happening. The Goonies 2 is happening.
And the musical.
Well, we're not sure about the musical. But
No,
for
it's
now,
happening, but it just...
For now, Goonies 2, the sequel to The Goonies, 1985, my all-time favourite film
Yeah, so let me
of
ask
all
you.
time.
Let me ask you now. How do you feel? How do you feel about the actual sequel? That was my impression, by the way, of a Brummy saying, how do you feel?
If I'm honest, I'm gutted more than excited.
Come on, there must be a bit... I mean, it's like for me, you know, if Christopher Reeve was still around and he came back and did the next one, that would have been...
There's too much time has passed.
Yeah, but they're all still, you know, I don't mean this in a morbid way, but they're all still here.
Yeah, but just look at Sean Astin, who's great, but...
Which one's he?
Mikey.
Right.
He's put on a bit of weight.
Yeah, but he'll lose it for the film.
I mean, look at us. We're a couple of fat,
Hold on a minute.
older people.
Well, I'm younger.
Would you want to
thinner.
see me running around some caves looking for treasure and fighting an octopus? You wouldn't, would you?
I nearly threw up a little bit then, sorry. I nearly chundered everywhere then.
No, but you know what I mean. For all those reasons we talked about Knight Rider, The Goonies is sacred to me. When I first watched that movie, I was about the same age as those kids. And I honestly believed that I could find a treasure map. Maybe not in my attic, because that was full of old-looking magazines and Roy the Rovers.
Playboy.
No.
Oh.
And I truly believed I could find a treasure map and I could go and hunt for some treasure and me and my friends could be the Goonies. I believed I could be a Goonie. I believed it could happen. It's...
Idiot.
You know, I don't want to sound corny, but that film's magical to me. So if you mess with that, I don't want you ruining that magic for me.
Do you know what they're doing with it, though? Is
No.
there any concept whatsoever?
There's no...
Because it surely won't be them doing it. It's got to be
Well-
they'll have kids or something doing it.
Sean Astin has spoken about it online, and so has Corey Feldman. And they haven't officially been asked, I don't think, but all of them have said they'll be there if it happens. But you know what? What can they do with it? Is it going to be their kids that go on an
That's
adventure?
what they usually do, isn't it? They usually
Or are
do.
they, as older people with bad backs and
They're not that old.
all of that? Well, they're our age.
I'm 34 years old.
I'm 38,
And you're looking older.
coming up to 40.
Well, no, there's one between, in the middle of that, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's not far away.
I know. I see. I understand. You are more of a fan. I mean, I'm a Superman boy. That's my. If you want to talk films, that's me. Not the new ones, the Christopher. And I understand that because I was really. I'm not going off the subject, but I was really the same with Superman Returns. I was really, worried because it's not Christopher Reeve. Obviously, he's not here anymore. Da 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 da. And I understand that, but you've got the whole cast. They're still available, still here, ready to go.
Not the whole cast.
Well, no, but the main bit.
Anne Ramsey isn't with us anymore. Mama Fratelli.
No, but you've got the kids. I mean,
and the lady who played the housekeeper, Rosalita, died recently.
Oh, you see, I wouldn't know that. I mean, you're a big fan of the film. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you see, I don't know. I would like to be excited about it. I really would, but I can't be because I just think it's gonna be ruined.
Well, I honestly, I think it's really exciting. As not a big fan of the Goonies, I know you are. I genuinely think it'll be really good. How can it not be good in this day and age? What they can do with it?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the other thing that worries me.
As long as they don't CGI it to the hill,
yeah,
that's fine.
I mean,
they can do so much stuff with it.
Yeah, again, I mean, look at the latest Superman movie. Just CGI'd to death.
Well, it's a completely different film altogether, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about Superman in another podcast, but I don't want them to do that with the Goonies. The Goonies was one of the last films that was really kind of everything was done for real.
Yeah, but you see, I'm going to interrupt you there because you've just said about they did that with Man of Steel, but they were starting from scratch again, weren't they? That was a completely new, fresh start. With the Goonies, they're not going to redo the film, are they? This is the Goonies 2.
No, there's a legacy, and there was a legacy for Superman, and that legacy is the films that have passed Christopher Reeve and all the things, and there's a legacy for the Goonies, and that's the original movie. And everyone who's a big fan of the original movie will not want to see a sequel CGI'd to death.
I agree, but how would you feel if they did a Goonies now, call it the Goonies now? I don't know.
A remake, you mean?
A complete remake.
Original.
New cast, new everything. How would you feel about that? And surely you'd be...
I would probably be happier with that than a sequel.
Really?
Yeah, because I think they'd be going for a new audience, and that's fine with me.
To me, that's like doing the young ones now without the original cast.
Yeah, but again...
You can't do it.
A sequel, to me, is a continuation of the original film, and 30 years has passed since the original film. Whereas a remake is a reimagining of it. And they don't always work. Superman didn't work for me, really.
No, not
Good
for me.
film. But it may have worked for a new generation who didn't grow up on the old Superman.
Well, it did, didn't it? They're making a sequel, so...
Yeah, so there you go. So a remade Goonies, to me, would be preferable to a sequel to the Goonies. Because if I didn't like the remake, that's fine. I've still got the original Goonies. It's not, the remake isn't taking anything away from the original.
Tell you what, though, it'll be a massive box office hit.
I'm sure it will.
I mean,
and I will
huge.
be. Don't get me wrong. I'll be there on first day,
you will.
on opening day to see it. I just don't know how they're going to do it to appeal to a new audience and not disappoint the legion of 80s fans that are out there, because it is a cult 80s
but you know,
movie.
the other thing we keep forgetting, you've got Richard Donner on board again.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legend, isn't he? I mean, he really is. Again, if it was someone else directing it, you'd probably be a bit like, oh, but you've got everything original to make this a really good sequel.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
And I've got no reason to be positive about it because I'm not as big fan as you.
I suppose that's the saving grace, that if Donner and Spielberg are doing it, they are probably as passionate about the Goonies as I am and as other people are, if not more. And you would like to think that they wouldn't do anything to it that would ruin it for the original fans.
I don't think they will. Donner's never done that with anything, has he? Well, he hasn't messed anything about, has he? Let's think about all the Lethal Weapons. He kept the main stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, if you watch his version of Superman 2, it's better than the version that was released in cinemas. You know, you disagree?
No, I don't. But it's, again, I grew up with the original one that was, not the original Donner one, but the one that was released.
But I just think, well, let's not go down the Superman road, because we'll
it's my
talk
fault.
about that
My fault.
in another podcast. But yeah, I suppose the saving grace is that Donner and Spielberg are involved. And the original cast do need to be in it, but how they are involved worries me a little bit.
Have you heard nothing about it then, what they're doing with it?
Because if it's, if the story goes that it's their kids who are involved in something, then that's a little bit cheesy and predictable for me. If they're involved in it, maybe the Fratellis come back and want to take revenge on them, or who knows. That, I don't know if that'll work with them at the age that they are at.
They're going to go down the route of, let's meet up again, it's a reunion, and then they come across something, isn't it? And they're going to go down that route. It's going to be that, isn't it?
I mean,
you know it is.
We know that those actors have grown up, and we know that they've done other films and things like that. But the Goonies, to me, will always be those actors, the age they were then, in that film. So if you're asking me to believe that the Goonies are now adults like me with kids and a mortgage and all the stuff that we didn't worry about when we were kids and just imagine that we could go on a treasure hunt, then maybe you're going to lose a little bit of the magic of it.
I think you're thinking too much about it.
I might be.
I think you just need to...
I have sleepless nights.
And really?
Yeah.
Kids?
No, the Goonies.
Oh. I just think you need to... If it was me, and I was a big fan like you are, I'd be absolutely chuffed to bits they're doing something else with it.
I'd like to be, but I just can't be. You know, and if you're a Goonies fan listening to this and you've got opinions, let us know. Get in touch, make a comment on the video. Go onto our Facebook page, facebook.com/The 80s Magazine, or visit the website, www.80smagazine.com, and let us know what you think. I think we've probably rambled on for far too long for
I'm sorry about that.
Initial podcast. So if you are still with us and you've enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the next one. We're hoping to do this every couple of weeks, aren't we?
Every 2 weeks.
If anybody's going to listen.
Well, judging what we've just talked about, Knight Rider, I mean, obviously, people love that, but I don't think our conversation was very thrilling.
Yeah.
And you just bored the tears out of me with the Goonies.
Well, we've tried our best, haven't we, eh?
So,
we've
all
had
in
a
all,
go.
it's a disaster, isn't it?
And I tell you what, the world really needs is another podcast series.
Obviously.
You know, there's not enough of them on YouTube or iTunes.
We're here to make people happy.
Exactly. And I think we've done that. If not just me and you.
Or if people want to get to sleep, then this is the way to do it.
Stick it on, yeah. Yeah.
Good times.
Anyway, I'm going to go and finish my fish and chips.
Chips.
And you're going to make another cup of tea.
No way.
This has been the 80s Magazine podcast. Thank you for listening. If you are still listening, let us know if you've enjoyed it and we'll carry on. Let us know if you haven't enjoyed it. But if you're still listening by now, you must have enjoyed a little bit of it, at least. Hopefully, we'll carry on with this series and we'll be talking about a few other things in the next episode. Let us know if you would like us to talk about anything
Thundercats
that you are interested in. Doesn't necessarily have to be 80s related. We aren't going to limit ourselves to the 80s with this podcast.
Ultimate Warrior.
It will generally be geeky things that we like.
Please come
and that you like. So yeah, drop us a line
18
through any of those. Greg, be quiet.
Street Hawk.
Yeah, we'll talk about Street Hawk.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. I've been Jason.
Oh, I'm Greg.
And we'll see you again on the next episode of the 80s Magazine podcast.
Ta-ra!